the one thing that helped me to see how all of these pieces come together to create your human design. And I'm going to share it with you. It's really simple. So when I first came to human design, like most people, I got really overwhelmed. There's a lot of stuff here in your body graph between learning what these numbers over here meant, right? And what these numbers meant. And then what are these shapes? What are these numbers? What are these lines? And then when I got further into it, it was like so much to like meaning, and it was just overwhelming. And I didn't have an intellectual way of organizing the information. And maybe you felt like that too. Because even when you get into just this one number over here, there's different components of it. And there's even more here than what I'm showing you. This is the simplified version of a body graph. It does not seem simple to me at all. So I want to walk you through what helped me. It's a visual in how I think about how things get connected together. And once I started doing that, it helped me to kind of see what ends up happening. So first thing that we have centers, right? So we have centers. We have 9 of them. So we have the head, we have the ajna, we have the throat, we have the spleen. Oops, that's not a 3, that would be a 4. We have the identity, we have the will, we have the solar plexus, we have our sacral, and then we have the root. So we have the centers. So the other thing that we end up having is there's gates. Okay, so that's going to be the next thing. And the gates are these little numbers, right? So these little numbers that you see in there. The numbers. Let's do that. And there's 64 of them. So that's why I guess I hit that 64, because there's 64 total. Then there's lines. And the lines are 1 through 6. And then there's some other things, but I'm going to just go from this big picture view on here. So I want to walk you through how I see how these all get connected and make sense together. So you might laugh. I think about pancakes. My husband loves pancakes. So every week or so, once a week or so, we make pancakes. And he likes his pancakes one way, and I like my pancakes a different way. He is a no fruit kind of person. He likes them really fluffy. He likes a lot of butter on them. I like pancakes with strawberries in it. That's my favorite. I'm not really a butter person, but sometimes I like a little bit more oil in it so they get a little bit crispy on them. And so we have different ways that we like our pancakes. And I guess this is why I think about pancakes, is because of this. So the centers I think about are pancakes. So let's put that in here, the centers, right? So I think we can all get what a pancake is. And, you can think about each center in here is its own unique kind of pancake. And maybe you've had, like buckwheat pancakes, buttermilk pancakes. Think about the batter, not the fixins that you put in. So think about the kind of batter that you have. And we have 9 pancakes here. They all have a different kind of thing. So like the head is it's the idea pancake. The number 2, the ajna, that's the conceptualization pancake. Number 3, the communication or the throat is like the communication and action pancake. Number 4 is the spleen. It's the well-being pancake. Number 5 is identity, and that's that flavor of pancake. Number 6 is willpower, so like your values and such. Stick with itness. That's that pancake. 7 is emotions. So there'll be different kinds of pancakes, right? You have 8 is the sacral center, which is like life force, energy, like, regenerative energy. And number 9 is the root. So that pulse to move into action. And that's what the centers are. Those are those kinds of pancakes. Now, I want you to think about fixins, how do you even spell that? Fixins? I'm going to say it's maybe this. The fixins. I don't know. Spell it any way that you want. These are the gates. Okay? So think about, let's do one that's really simple. Let's do the will center right here, right? So what if 21 was chocolate chips, right? So now we might have buttermilk pancakes, but with chocolate chips. And let's say 26 were blueberries. It's pretty common, right? And maybe 51, what if it was something that, was, let's see, what else would somebody want to put in there? Maybe they're nuts. I don't know. Do people put nuts in their pancakes? Maybe. I guess you could put anything in them you want, right? So you'd have different flavors of whatever they are, whether they're some kind of fruit or there's something different. So these are the fixins, the gates, the numbers, right? Then that gives that pancake a whole new kind of flavor. So like for my husband, if I put strawberries in them, he's not interested in them, right? So strawberries are like kind of my flavor of pancakes. And I guess, there's no reason why you couldn't put some chocolate chips and some blueberries and some nuts into your pancakes if you wanted to. You can spruce them up. Maybe this is also kind of like ice cream. That would have been another good analogy, I think. And then I want you to think about the lines. See, we're getting more defined. That's what we're doing. We're going from this broad idea of what a pancake is, and now we're all of a sudden, because we put different fixins in them, they're going to appeal to different people, right? Or that's because we're different. We start putting in our specificity of things that resonate with us. And that's essentially what's happening in your chart. When something is defined, it starts to resonate with you. And I want you to think about the lines as a little bit further down in the fixins. So let's take the chocolate chip. All right. So there's ones that are like little tiny mini ones. There's ones that are big. There's even chocolate chunks, that are kind of like squares that they could be. So it could be more of a chunky, or you could even have, instead of chocolate chip, it could be chocolate chips, but they could be like shavings of it. There's different kinds of chocolate chips, right? So even with the blueberries, you have the ones that are small. You have the ones that are big, right? There's different flavors. You could also prefer blueberries that are a little bit more mushy versus blueberries that are real perfect and firm. That would be like on how ripe they are. Same thing with nuts. I mean, you could go for walnuts, pecans, and even if you just did walnuts, let's say if you just had walnuts, you can have almost like powdered walnut that you mix in. So there's nothing crunchy, but you have the nut flavor. You could put big chunks of walnuts in, so you really crunch into them. You could smash them in half and just have them kind of broken. And that's how I want you to think about the line, where the gate is still the gate. The thing is still the thing. But you've just altered it in a way that you have kind of a different experience with it. And so this is my theory on how to help me to understand how the centers and the gates and the lines work. So, as just a quick recap, pancakes are your centers. Fixins, the kind of fixins you pick, are the gates. And your lines, well, they're the way that fixin appears and how you experience it. And so hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight, a new way of thinking about this as you go through and you do your studying of your self-study or maybe you're even working with other clients and stuff. And I think the more that we can put these into just simple things that we all kind of understand, for me, it takes the overwhelm out of it. And so when I started thinking about this, I had a logical way that I could start categorizing and organizing my information, as opposed to just try to think centers, gates, lines. Okay. Metaphors or similes or whatever this might be. That's not my area of expertise to know the difference between those things. But whatever this is, it gives you something more to latch onto so that you can learn and remember it better. And ultimately, in the end, that's what we want to do, right? We want to learn and remember it so we can use it. So there you go.